I want all of you to pause for a minute and answer to the questions that I'm going to ask by raising your hands. Who amongst you wants to see a peaceful society? Raise your hand. Everyone? Wonderful. Who dislikes hatred and extremism? Let me say that. So all of you, we represent a small number of humanity, a small sample size that dislikes hatred and extremism. Why do we see so much bloodshed? Why do we see so much wars, violence, and hatred around us? When we disassociate ourselves from hatred and extremism, why the humanity is still fighting to have peace? Why we have accepted the notion that war is necessary to have peace? Why do we see hundreds and thousands of people being killed in Syria, Iraq, Nigeria, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Pakistan? Have we lost the sanctity for the human life? I see an inconsistency what we raise our hands for and what our acts are to mitigate the challenge of extremism. Maybe peace is just a far-fetched idea or a lie, or extremism is so deep-rooted in our society, in our homes, in our minds, that we fail to recognize its existence. Let's talk about Pakistan. Let's talk about us. We have lost more than 70,000 people, our brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, including 144 innocent children of APS Peshawar. What we have learned out of it. As somebody who works in the field of countering extremism, I would like to share that how our understanding vis-à-vis extremism and terrorism is often misplaced. We tend to link and often think that extremism and terrorism happen just because of poverty, lack of opportunities, hopelessness. These are the major drivers. But have you heard the names of Saad Aziz, Noreen Lagari, Usman Sarwar? These are the educational elites coming from the top-notch universities of Pakistan, the elite class, not from any madrasas. And they were responsible of some unimaginable terror in Pakistan. Have you heard of Sabeen Mahmood? Yes or no? Yes. Sabeen Mahmood was killed by, allegedly, Saad Aziz. Have you heard the names of Abdul Ahad and Saleh Muhammad, who were the terrorists of Al-Qaeda and from Jamshoro, Mehran University, Jamshoro? Have you heard about Abdul Ghafoor, who was an alleged terrorist of Tehreek-e-Taliban, Pakistan, from NED University, Karachi, an engineering graduate? And before I forget, and how can I forget, Mishal Khan, who was lynched in broad daylight by people like you and me. Not in any madrasa, in a university. And the irony is, the university that has been named after Khan Abdul Wali Khan, son of Bacha Khan, who was known for peace and non-violence in the subcontinent. So I ask you a question. Is peace possible? Or countering extremism is possible? Or, for that matter, terrorism and extremism is a class-based problem? Do you think so? Let's talk about Brenton Tarrant, a person who killed 51 Muslims in New Zealand. His family and friends said that he was a friendly, kind young man, bright young man. When we talk about Noreen Lagari, a student of Liaquat University, her friends said she was a hard-working and a friendly person. And she was prepared to execute attacks in Syria. And before she went there, she was abducted by the security agencies. I'm going to show you something. Before that, I want you to imagine when you hear the words like extremism, terrorism, or terrorists, what kind of images do you get in your head? Something like this? Most of the times? We fail to analyze that terrorism could have a different face, maybe like this. So can we link extremism or terrorism for that matter with a particular outlook, with a particular faith or identity for that matter? Why does our educated class fall prey to extremism? That is the question we should be asking. Because that is what most of us could possibly relate with. And where and how do we go wrong about things? So when we talk about peace, can we achieve a concept of peaceful society when people who strive to have peace have violent tendencies in them? Do we realize that more than often we depict extremism in our attitudes towards certain things? We don't need to have a certain outlook to be called as an extremist person or terrorist for that matter. So, as I shared somebody who has worked in this field, there are a few things I have practiced for myself that have surely helped me to analyze the violent tendencies in myself. I would like to share those lessons with you. And that could possibly help you analyze that if you or anybody in your family could be prone to extremism, leading to terrorism for that matter. So let's analyze what are those possible things that we could share in this short talk that possibly could help us. One, critically analyze your MBA. Now, MBA is not your Masters of Business Administration, but meanings, belonging, and association. The concept of meaning to life, belonging, and association. Most of the times we think that we have strong meaning in life, some belonging and association. But when we zoom out, we see it's most of the times maybe just because of a peer pressure or unconsciously adopted behavior. In the present era of social media and information bombardment, we fail to reflect and understand our actions on our actions. So it's the time that we ask ourselves a question, why do we like something if we like? Why we dislike something if we dislike? Why do we like to associate ourselves with a certain group of people and not with others? This was the step one. Step two, reconnect with books and literature. Not for your Snap stories or Instagram hashtags, but for an authentic knowledge. The more you read, the more flavor would be added in your life. The more tolerant you would become. You would see when you read the diverse opinions of different people, you would become more tolerant, more inclusive. So once you muscle up your reading habit, you would understand how certainly and suddenly your behavior changes towards different attitudes in the society. Third, communicate. Communicate with each other in real and genuine form. Do not wait for internet to go out or be stuck in an elevator to communicate and talk to another human. There could be no substitute for a human interaction. And at the same time, when you communicate, don't rush to judge. Human beings are complicated, their actions are complicated. Give them a margin. There could be entirely different reasons for two persons committing the same act. There could be entirely different motivations behind that. So sit back, relax, and try to understand, and you would see a positive side of people and concepts. Number 4, empathize. Now, when we talk about empathy, it's a concept mostly described as a kind attitude towards others, non-judgmental attitude towards others. Oh, all right, that's true, but that's not all of it. That's not whole of it. Empathy demands to be kind to yourself as well, to give yourself a margin. When you commit a mistake, when something goes wrong, tell yourself it's all right. It only makes you more human. We most of the times tend to be very cruel towards ourselves. Remember, if we plan and tend to heal the world, we must heal ourselves first. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that peace is indigenous and extremism as an outsider. Haven't we suffered a lot? Hasn't this has been like enough already? Haven't we sacrificed more than what we imagine? Remember, if we do not want to have rather people like Noreen Lagari, people like Saad Aziz, people like Usman Sarwar, people like Shahzeb Ehsan, we must work towards it, and it starts from ourselves. Right here, right from ourselves. All of you people, through your unique contributions, I believe, and through your unique ideas, can make this country and a world a better place to live in for our future generations. But it starts right now, right here. Thank you very much, everyone.